Hey everyone, Stephen here, aka Mr. Stj. Yeah, that's how you pronounce Mr. Stj, by the way, because I know a few people have tried to call me Mrs. Tej or Mr. Stage. No, it's Mr. Stj. Anyway, in today's video, I wanted to talk about my passion for Radiohead. I was going to do a top 5 Radiohead list type thing because I want to start doing top 5 music lists in the future, but to be honest, I got really stressed out thinking about it, so instead, I'm just going to chat about Radiohead in general and show off all of the kind of the things I've collected and maybe talk about being a retired collector and, you know, what does that mean nowadays? I don't know. But let's dig into Radiohead. So when I got into Radiohead, let's think about this, in about 1996 or 7, something like that. It was in between like the Benz and OK Computer coming out. And I remember I was madly into Oasis at the time, and I went to a cousin's house, and he'd said, before I was just going to go because he played guitar, and he said, you know, you can borrow a CD or something if you want. And I was like, oh sure, because I didn't really have that many albums at home, didn't have that much money to go out and buy my own, so I was all for kind of borrowing off of other people. And I went through and I saw that I had at the Benz by Radiohead, and I was like, well, I was aware of the track Creep. I'm pretty sure I was, and I knew that was a great track, but I wasn't able ever to get hold of it. And I was like, well, that track isn't even on the Benz. I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll borrow this. He didn't have the first album, which Creep appeared on, Pablo Honey. So I borrowed the Benz and took it home. And I remember, because what I used to do when I was a kid, when I first listened to albums, I used to listen to them in bed. Just like headphones into stereo or CD Walkman or tape or whatever, and just that was kind of my first impressions. And I remember just being blown away by the sound of the Benz. It was just wow. I mean, it didn't immediately grab me because no album really does. The thing that grabbed me, I think, was I think it was pretty much a Fake Plastic Trees, because it was just like such a somber track, very emotional, builds up, boom. And I've always said, on any album that you kind of grow into, there's always like an anchor track. That's what I always need, an anchor track. I get a track and then suddenly all the other good tracks on the album like rear their heads. So suddenly it was Just and Street Spirit and the Benz and all that stuff. And I just became obsessed, and from there I was able to go back to find Pablo Honey, the first album, and then OK Computer came out and then just obliterated everything. Especially because Oasis brought out Be Here Now, which was a bit of a letdown to me, not only because my GCSE results came out that day and that was a bit of a letdown, so letdown all round. But yeah, from there I transitioned from being a massive Oasis fan to a massive Radiohead fan, which is bizarre really if you think about those two kind of bands. Oasis was all kind of, you know, all people fists in the air, shouting together, or camaraderie of everyone, yes. And then Radiohead was just like music for the introvert, and it kind of just hit me at the right time in my life when I needed to hear a music like that, and it inspired me to kind of, you know, push forward as a musician myself. So with that said, we'll go through some of my collection now. One other thing I want to say is that when we were in school, there seemed to be this weird kind of, you know, when in late 80s, early 90s, there was a kind of Sega versus Nintendo thing, and everyone was like, oh, you've got to have a Master System, you've got to have a NES, or you can have a Super Nintendo, you've got to have a Mega Drive, and you got to stand on each side of that war. Also, there was a little bit of a Manic Street Preachers versus Radiohead. I think it was kind of weirdly, like the academic fans of music were just like, yes, I love Manic Street Preachers because they've got all this political outrage and political, and then Radiohead was like, oh yes, but they're so ambitious in what they're trying to do musically, and it was like you would have it on each side, and you couldn't be both, or you could be, but you kind of stood for one, you wore the badge for one. I don't know what that was. Why are we always competitive? Why can't we like both? It's like saying, you know, my dad's bigger than your dad's. Why can't all of our dads be bigger? Anyway, on to the stuff. So I've got loads of records and CDs. Well, we'll start off with the CDs. Box. Right, I've got tons. This is going to take ages. What I'll do, I'll cut to some of these like on the table and things like that. The first one isn't even a Radiohead single. It is an Uncle CD, and it is Rabbit in Your Headlights. Basically, Uncle got Tom York to sing on one of his tracks, and I remember being absolutely obsessed with this track because the video was one of those banned videos from TV when you were younger, and that just made you want to watch it more, it always does. And it had a guy in the videos walking along, he was walking on the road, on a heavy traffic road, on a motorway where was it, in a tunnel somewhere, and all the cars are beeping as he's going past because he's obviously in the middle, he's walking, he's got this big duffel coat or something he was wearing. But anyway, there's a point in the end where he just stops and the car just crashes into him, but the car crashes and he's just standing there like that. And I was just so obsessed with that as an idea, in the same way I was obsessed with the Aphex Twins Come to Daddy video. I think that was another band video, but it was such a cool kind of concept. Anyway, and plus Tom York's vocal on that was stunning. Next up we've got a Guardian CD, The Big Noise. Why did I get this? It must have... it's got a Radiohead's Where I End and You Begin, which is a track from Hail to the Thief, and it's a demo from that, and that came on there. Remember, we used to get things like this. Now, things like this don't really exist. They kind of just release the tracks on YouTube and special edition things, but they never really leaked on other offshoot discs from media outlets, like Mojo, maybe. Right, where are we going now? Okay, this is CD2 of Paranoid Android from OK Computer. It's a beautiful artwork, probably by Stanley Donwood. Yeah. And that, yeah, because back in the day I did this with Oasis as well, but I unfortunately don't have all those CDs anymore. But I used to love all of the B-sides. That's why you would get these, because it was a way to get extra tracks. I mean, obviously I was a bit of a collector, I'm a bit of a materialist at heart, but I really loved the idea of getting new Radiohead tracks. It wasn't just the album, it was the extra stuff you were going to get. That doesn't really happen anymore. Like sometimes you get like special 7-inch singles and then maybe a B-side, but from time to time it's just like a remix or something. This is Paranoid Android CD1, and that's got another couple of tracks on it. I mean, this video at this point is going to be me showing stuff to the camera, so that might be quite dull to you, but I love this stuff. This is Pyramid Song, and it is CD1 of 2 CD sets. I had little stickers used to get as well, and especially because it'll tell you that it's of a CD2 set, you're going to have to get it. I hope I've got it. But Pyramid Song was from their album Amnesiac. I really like that cover. It'd be easier if I just hold these up. Radiohead No Surprises single, and that had 2 of the songs on it, Palo Alto and How I Made My Millions. I love the song How I Made My Millions. It's literally just Tom York in his living room playing the piano. We can hear his girlfriend doing the dishes in the background. Got another one of those, another Karma Police. Have I got 2 of those? Yeah, I've got Karma Police CD 1 and 2. There you go, little slip cases there. Another Paranoid Android, Knives Out, CD1 of CD2. I don't even know if I've got CD2 of that. CD2 of Pyramid Song, and Just from the Bends, because I went into a big collecting spree at that point. I was like, I've got to try and own everything. So as soon as I got a little bit of money, it was like, I've got to get these. So on this, you had Just from the album and Bones live tracks. You remember when live tracks used to be a novelty, and now you just go on YouTube and you just watch whole live concerts? But back in the day, we'd be able to share bootleg tapes of bands that you loved and go, listen to this, they played this song slightly differently, which was always quite exciting. This is quite interesting. So Radiohead, full colour collector's book and picture CD audio documentary. So these things, I got these for quite a lot of the bands at the back of the day. I had one for Oasis as well, and you get a book which is basically just like documenting who are Radiohead and blah 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 blah. But the CD was basically an interview with the band. You probably can get this online now. Like it's probably just on YouTube in its entirety. But back then, listening to that, it's like while you're in bed or whatever, it was the only way in to kind of get the insight of like how your band was making the music you were loving. It was really interesting. I mean, it'd be weird to go back to it now. It'd be quite long. Like, what year was that? 97. And how much was it? I have no idea. Another Just single. This one's in a case. CD2 single includes Bones Live, Planet Telex, and Anyone Can Play Guitar Live, plus 2 free postcards. I've got the postcards. Oh, I have got the postcards. You can tell I haven't looked at these in a while. So there's one of the postcards to see them looking quite young there. Yum. I like that, actually. I probably at some point, because it's got blue tack on the back of these things, I probably put them on the wall. You know when we used to put images of your favourite bands on the wall? I probably still do that, to be honest. I've got the Beatles. There's another No Surprises single, which has got 2 more live tracks, Airbag Live in Berlin and Lucky Live in Florence. This is another one of those documentary kind of booklets with a interview CD. Where's the CD? The CD normally comes as part of the book. Yeah, a little inlay there. Everyone looks so young. You know, when you stay with a band like all your life, and then wow, and everyone just gone through a journey, let's say. There's a single for There. I think that came with a poster. I think it did, but I don't know where the hell it is. Yeah, an exclusive print, as you say. I love these stickers that you get on the front of CDs. If I'm ever going to do another CD of some kind, I'm gonna put some nice little stickers on it like that to hold myself to that now. That's quite beautiful, I gotta say. Radiohead, Street Spirit. I should have put these in order of when they come out, really, but it's just a bit of a jumble. This is Street Spirit, and it's got Talk Show Host and Bishop's Road. Talk Show Host is an epic track. This has just turned into me flexing about all the Radiohead stuff I've got, which is going to impress pretty much no one. High and Dry, the single, and it's got Planet Telex, Mecadora, and a remix of Planet Telex. That Mecadora, which I can never pronounce, that was a good track. I remember hearing that on the live video they put out, live in London Astoria. Another Radiohead interview. I've just always been a geek, loving interviews and things like that, and documentaries, haven't I? That CD's damaged. You can tell that's so years ago, because that's when Phil's got hair. Okay, the Anyone Can Play Guitar EP. This has got acoustic version of Creep. We've got Papa's Dead, Think About You, and Killer Cars. Killer Cars was a great track, which they don't play anymore. That's a great thing. Is it? It's Australian Tour 94. Wow. I love the cover. Little baby with little eyes. Little baby with little eyes, what does that even mean? Radiohead, How Am I Driving, Airbag EP, which has got Paley, Meeting the Isle, Reminder, Polyethylene, Melatonin, and Palo Alto. Just beautiful little CD, and it's got a little questionnaire thing you can fill out if you want to. Obviously, it's just part of the art. Love that though. There's a lot of thought's gone into it. Something that you'd want to collect. It wasn't just a throwaway promo thing. This one. Oh, another Just single. I've got quite a lot of Just singles. I did like the track. The Bends, obviously. I don't actually own the Bends on vinyl, which is annoying. And it's one I just haven't got, or a computer, which is bizarre. At that point in time, I wasn't really bothered about buying vinyl. It was all about CDs, you know. My Iron Lung, the My Iron Lung EP. I think it was called something else then. It's a great EP. That it was like basically an album, because it's got 8 tracks on it. You Never Wash Up Yourself. That's a great track. Half of these CDs are broken though. You can hear in the background just me trying to piece them together. I Might Be Wrong EP. I mean, is this a Japanese one? Yeah, I think so. I don't even remember where I got these. Probably like HMV, and paid over the odds for them. But it came with one of those. I can't remember what that's called. I had it in my head then. But a little like Japanese slip that goes on the side. But it's a beautiful little EP. This. It's a gatefold, yeah, completely gatefold. Loads of little lovely artwork by Slam Donwood. And that contains a lot of tracks, everything in its right place, does, and says a lot of live stuff on there. Put that back in the bag in a bit. And this better not. Oh yeah, there's the single for Creep. That's probably worth quite a bit of money in some way, maybe. I don't know. It's a CD, so people are not bothered about it anymore. But you know, it's the single everyone knows still to this day. Street Spirit from that's weird. From the Benz King of Limbs CD. Now this came with the record, which I'll go over in a minute. It's a beautiful little DIY style slipcase. I think it's just a print. I love it. Actually, I'm gonna keep that out and kind of look into doing something like that. I really inspires me. High and Dry live package. Now this looks like a little promo set. This, but it's only got 5 tracks on it. Sorry, I need to drink some tea. Dry. This is Go to Sleep. This is from Hail to the Thief, obviously, with the artwork like this. What was on this? I'm a Citizen Zane. Fog, the live version of Fog. It's a different type of the way they played it. Kid A. There we go. God, I don't even want to say what my thoughts on the albums were because I did put a list together, but I think that list is going to come some other time. No Surprises, Running from Demons, another EP. They love putting EPs out. It's a real shame they don't do it because it's beautiful, beautiful little packages, you know. What else we got, Steven? I know you're all crying. What else we got? 2 + 2 = 5. That was a DVD. Do you remember when, when CDs were on their way out and they were trying to do anything to kind of bring people in? Well, this has got a DVD. This has got DVD stuff. Is it an actual DVD? That makes no sense. It's a DVD-R video, and it's got the sit-down, stand-up video and an excerpt from the Most Gigantic Lying Mouth of All Time. That was their YouTube show. I should pop that in sometime and have a look at what the hell that is, because I can't remember. This is Flake Plastic 3 CD, but it's got 2 CDs in it. It's got 2 singles in it, so one of them is missing its case. Another Knives Out CD. Jesus Christ. This is a good one. This is the first album, Pablo Honey, but it is. Can you see that? Can you see that? Yeah, I can see that. So this is the first Radiohead album, Pablo Honey, but it's the Japanese version, I think, and it comes with some extra tracks. So where the normal Pablo Honey album finishes on the track Blowout, which is the 12th track, this album's got Pop Is Dead, Inside My Head, $1 Million Question, a live version of Creep, and a live version of Ripcord. I was obsessed with the track $1 Million Question. It's got a good kind of rock riff. It's very 70s rainbow style. It's like this riffage. Oh, I love that album so much. I mean, I think it's criminally underrated. Pablo Honey, it sounds very live, and I mean, people say it's like very Pixies-ish and maybe a bit Nirvana-ish. It definitely is, but it's some great tunes on it, and Johnny Greenwood's guitar again. Oh God, and then he did that. Who does that? I don't know what that is. For one of those kind of Japanese versions, this is Itch, which is an early EP. I think I had a different version of Stop Whispering, the US version, which is a bit more rock. I prefer the one on the album, but it also got another Killer Cars, but yeah, other tracks, Faithless, The Wonder Boy, great things. OK Computer, I think I've got multiple versions of this CD somewhere as well. We've been through the others, so let's go through the vinyl. I've just made a mess with all those, so I'm going to quickly tidy up. Actually, we're not done. We've got let's get that over version. We've got the Amnesiac library book. This is a great little thing. This is a special edition of Amnesiac, obviously, and where the CD inlay goes, it's where all the dates are for the library books. And I was always obsessed with this because I think my birthday was on it, which is the 26th of June, and I was always obsessed with that. Saying, "No, my birthday's in it," which is also the same date as Colin Greenwood in the band, the bass player. But I really love that. There's obviously some artwork from the album in there. It's a nice, beautiful thing to have. I don't know if that's still selling on eBay. Probably is. Might be worth a bit of money, but it's a nice thing. Mine's slightly battle damaged now. Special edition. See, back then I wasn't really into buying vinyl again. I only got into buying vinyl, I suppose. When did I? When would that be? So I started going out with my girlfriend, who would become my wife. She had records, and I was like, oh, I wouldn't mind getting records again. And this is all before, it all came back. So I ended up buying records in charity shops and things like that. And they used to be really cheap, when they were selling them off, because obviously records weren't selling again. So I used to get like a lot of records. You see, you can't really see that many there, but it used to be like £1 and things like that. Nowadays, it's like, God, it's a stupid amount. You can go into Oxfam and a record would be like £20 or something, which is crazy. Not these though. So, Amnesiac, the record. This is it's beautiful. It's like look at the size of them. I'm not gonna take it out actually. I'm not going to touch them. I've just held some tea. But it is nice. I like that. And obviously, go to have Kid A coupled with it, because I always kind of treat these as the same album, because Kid A came out one year and then Amnesia came out the next year, because they were part of the same sessions, really. But I absolutely adore Kid A, if that gives you any clue to where my list would go. King of Limbs. Here. Oh yeah, I will show this because I think it's absolutely beautiful. So I love the clear vinyl. I don't know what it is. It's like, I think it's clear vinyl on the kind of the smaller records. I've got this pet peeve with coloured vinyl that you might have heard of or might not have heard of, where basically every record you hear that comes out nowadays, it's got a little sticker saying special edition red vinyl, special edition blue tinted Pinocchio vinyl. I don't know what that means. Special editions coloured vinyls, and it's getting to that point now where you don't see much black vinyl. It's like that's going to become a special edition. That's going to go retro at some point when people go back and actually get vinyl the way it used to be. It's always a different colour. But saying that, I'm a massive hypocrite because I like the smaller records in that way. Hail to the Thief record. It's absolutely beautiful. I love that album to death. And unfortunately, I don't have OK Computer or the Bends, which is weird. But as I said, back in the day, I bought the CDs. But I am tempted to go back and buy that OK Computer special edition, where it had a couple of extra tracks that came out a couple of years ago. That's kind of been on my list, but because I've already owned it, I don't know. Okay, this is good. Don't drop everything, Stephen, you idiot. It's fine. We're good. This is the In Rainbows special edition. So I basically just got into a position where every time Radiohead would release a new album, I would get the special edition, no matter what. So that's what I did with the Amnesiac, and that's what I did with Hail to the Thief. So yeah, In Rainbows was no different, and this came at a time where Radiohead put out their whole gesture of pay what you want for the album, so you could literally go online and pay 10 pence for the digital album. But I kind of think they knew that the real fans would want to buy the physical thing. So let's take a look. Just opening it up from the sleeve, you can see the artwork here. Oh, this is beautiful! And you've got the the album on CD. And all the kind of B-sides. What were they? MK, the new up is down. Oh, it's so good. I do appreciate it when you get a CD version of the album with the vinyl. I mean, it's good to get a download code as well. But, when it's embedded like that, it just looks gorgeous, doesn't it? Some artwork here, and the records are in there. Lastly, this is a Moon-Shaped Pearl, which was their last album, came out a couple of years ago, probably 2016, I would say. Absolutely gorgeous, the way embossed name, everything there, the artwork, records span through, and also you've got a couple of CDs there, the album obviously, and CD2, which I think it's got Spectre on, which was their James Bond song that never got used. So that's it really. Am I a bit of a hoarder for keeping all of that? I mean, I do treasure all those CDs and records, obviously. Going through it now is kind of therapeutic, because it makes me realise why I like the band so much, and seeing all those old song titles takes me back a little bit and makes me, well, I am going to, after this, going to go and make a nice little playlist of all those B-sides. Makes me think if all those tracks are actually still available, and if I can still, maybe I'll have to burn them. I'm going to have to copy them to my hard drive somehow. And that's the thing nowadays, because has anyone even got CD players anymore? I don't actually own a CD player. I own a PlayStation 4, which can play CDs. I think my PlayStation 3 can, but I do need to get some kind of CD player just to kind of reminisce and throw some of these on. Because maybe some of those, interviews might not even be available. Will I ever want to listen to them though? When I would go back and listen to an interview from 20 years, 25. Oh my god, I'm showing my age. Anyway, that was my Radiohead flex. Hopefully you got something from that. Let me know if you're a collector. What are you a collector of? Do you have like the same amount of collection? Do you have the same amount of love for collecting like Pink Floyd records and tapes or I don't know, anything, books or anything? Let me know. A DIY guide on Thursday, a guitar video on Sunday, and another one of these or a top 5 hopefully next Tuesday. But if you want to see more videos like this, please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time in another video.